Well, now that I've got a great sound loaded up, I'm going to jump in and start to look at how to control that sound with my advanced keyboard. Down here at the bottom, I can open up the control panel and take a look at what the knobs and buttons are doing. So right now I've got this sound. If I play the sound, as I adjust the first knob, you'll see it's the main output volume. So I'm adjusting the knob on the keyboard, and it's reflected on both the keyboard's LCD screen and the VIP software LCD. I can adjust the second knob, and it's doing something different, like cutoff. Now, there's lots of banks. I don't have to sit with just those 8 knobs. I can cycle through the banks right there. I can see what the buttons are doing as well, these on-off buttons, and get all sorts of different activations that way. Let's reset it to its default. There we go, back to normal. Now, I can go through and change what these buttons are mapped to. Right now, I'm working with the published VST parameters. So these plugins have to publish their VST parameters to the VST spec, and that's why it's using all VST plugins within the VIP software, so that it knows that instead of me having to fuddle around and actually memorize what MIDI control change numbers it might be, I can click on this main output and go to the plugin parameter and see a list of the actual text. So I go through and I'm seeing English language instead of dealing with MIDI control change numbers. Now, that's not to say that you can't change that. It's just that this is a little bit easier to work with. So let's say I change that to the tuning of oscillator 2. Now, if I play, now you could do that on the keyboard as well. You'll notice on the keyboard screen right here, I've got that parameter selected. All I do is push the control wheel in, and I can change that from oscillator 2 tuning to anything. Oscillator 2 is normalizing, the poly width, sync mod depth. So I can have it adjust just about any parameter I want, and I can change it on the keyboard, or I can change it in the VIP software. Well, that's pretty cool. And it's not just the wheels that you can change. So if I want to, I hit the control button again, and now instead of the wheels, I'm dealing with the buttons. So I've got a couple of unmapped buttons there. I'll just select it, push the control wheel in, and I can change the type to MIDI CC and just assign it to a MIDI control change message. You can tap control and do the same thing with the pads as well. So everything is mappable and assignable right from the keyboard or right in the VIP software. If you want to take a look at that other stuff there, you can just simply go cycle through banks and click on it underneath. If you click on the title, you'll be able to change it from the plugin parameter or straight up MIDI control change. And that's the cool thing, is that you don't have to be married to either one. If you like 90% of the mappings that it already has, you can simply click on it and change one of them to a MIDI control change parameter. And if I'm using a control setup that this keyboard is controlling my software, but as well it's controlling something else, I can do that. I can now edit MIDI control changes that are not affecting the plugin at all. Anything that is getting CC25 is going to get my message, and then the rest of these knobs are all assigned to plugin values. I push the control knob to enter, and you see one of them is colored green, that's for MIDI, and the rest are all orange and yellow, and that's for the automatic VST published spec mappings.